Okie dokie. So today we're making a ginger beer, ginger mead, if you will. It's going to be a combination of honey and granulated sugar. But first thing is first, the ginger. I've pulverized it in the food processor so that we have as much surface area as possible in order to infuse the mead. And so now I'm going to take this and put them in some nylon bags so that it's easy to clean out later. These probably aren't going to be that easy to clean, but it'll be easier to clean out the brewer once that's finished. So we'll get all that going. There's 405 grams of ginger that we'll be putting into these lovely things. And yes, they are sanitized. And I'm also heating up a bottle, a kettle of water, because we're going to use heat to help infuse as well. But only at this very beginning, it's going to be like a ginger tea. And this recipe is based off of City Studding Brews. I watched a number of their videos about making wine and mead, and I have really liked what I have seen, and I think that we will have somewhat similar palates. I'm not inclined to have quite as much sweetness as Brian, so I'm a little bit more like Derica in that fashion, but occasionally I do like something stupid sweet, you know, like a Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper. And yes, my hands are sanitized in the black bucket of sanitization. Ooh, I'm losing juices. That. Let's do this. Apologies, that's the coffee maker. Now I will say I did not bother peeling the ginger because I'm lazy. And it's all, I don't think it'll impart any bitterness into the brew. Compared to the amount of surface area that we're getting from the actual ginger flesh, if you will, I don't think it'll be that big of a difference. Try to get as much ginger as possible. Oh, good, the water's done. Oh, goodness, so much ginger, and I want to get as much of it as possible to get as much gingery flavor. Except, am I at the point of, do I care anymore? I don't think I am. I have taken as much ginger as I'm gonna get. So now, I'm gonna tie this off. Oh, that's a problem. That's why. Uh-oh. Rachel did a bad. It happens on occasion. Did Rachel do a double bad? I don't know. Okay, we're gonna tie a different knot. We'll do this. Hopefully I'll be able to untie that when it comes time. All right, so we've got ginger, getting the hot water. Now this is already part of the 2 gallons that I had planned. So we're just gonna pour this one lonely quart. I might boil another quart, and I'm gonna let it sit. Yeah, I'm gonna get another quart to heat up. maybe I won't. All right, now I'm gonna let that sit for probably a half hour to get some pre-infusion going. Also, this is gonna be way too damn hot for the yeast. Way too damn hot. Yeast is happy, you know, like bread yeast, starting around 90 degrees, 95, but then it needs to cool down, otherwise it'll die. So we'll let this sit for about a half hour. Let me get a timer going. We'll see if I can be patient. Okay, see you in half an hour. Okie dokie. So it's been just over a half hour. The tea has cooled a little bit, which is great. So what I'm gonna do now is bring my sanitized fermenter over and put the bag in. So that's the start of that. I'm still going to use this warm water to help with honey and sugar fulfillment. And off camera, I mixed together 1 cup of water from the trusty gallon with Mead, which is a yeast nutrient, and excuse me, and a half packet of yeast, which is the Lalvin D47. It's a new yeast for me, but I didn't want to use the EC1118 just because it's a different style than that yeast is meant for. Different style of product than that yeast is meant for. Words are hard, y'all. Okay, so I've got that. Now to the honey. Get my other scale. So in total, I want about 4 pounds of sweetness, of my sweetener, if you will. So today is going to be however much is left of this Kirkland wildflower and however much is left of this Oregon clover honey, hummingbird, and then I'll fill with sugar. So turn this on, Rachel. And that's in grams. Get into pounds, thank you. And off we go. This might take a minute. It's a little crystallized, but I'll be getting some of the water in. It's probably some of this warm water, a little bit at least, to shake it up. And this is where Rachel gets impatient. There we go. Okay, we are at 1 pound, 1.5. Okay, I think that's all that one's gonna give us for now. Turn it upside down, get some more gathered up down there at the bottom while I work on this other honey. So right now we're at 1.6. Get my sanitized spatula to help me out here. Two and a quarter. Plop. So we're at 2.32 pounds right now. If I didn't say before, we're making a 2-gallon batch, so that's why I want a bit more honey than what we normally see. And in my heart of hearts, the reason I'm trying to get it up to 4 pounds is so that 2.36. The reason that I'm trying to get it up to 4 pounds is because I want it to be somewhere around 8 or 9% ABV. So still very drinkable, but not hit you in the face drinkable. Because the first couple of meads are going to be around 12% or so. So that's like a solid wine. I want this just to be more like a good, strongly flavored type beer. Okay, so that is 2.46. I'm gonna call that that. And now the rest shall be sugar. Just plain old white sugar works just fine. So we'll get up to 4. 3, 3.5, 3 3/4, 3.9, whoop, and 4. So we've got 4 pounds of sweetener in not a whole lot of water, if you can't tell. So what I'm gonna do now is use water, some of my 2-gallon that I have, and do some shaking up on both of these. Now it will add a little bit of extra. I'm not that concerned. Like, it's gonna be less than a 1/4 pound. So not that concerned. Just want to get as much honey in there as possible because we like honey flavor, and this is a mead after all. And just a little bit of the warm liquid. And let's shake it up, shall we? Believe it or not, this will actually also help with aerating. Oxygenating, if you will, because yeast does need oxygen at the very beginning. It's only once alcohol becomes present that we have problems with the possibility of becoming vinegar. So at this point, oxygen good. Almost done. There's just this one clump right here that I want to get, and it's just being a little bit on the difficult side. We'll try shaking this way. Almost, almost. I have a cat staring at me, waiting for her 10 a.m. and she still has 20 minutes. So she has to wait. All right, look at all those lovely bubbles. Okay, so that is now empty. Let's go with the other one. Fulfill your destiny. Ooh, this one's not as watertight. Okay, because this one's not as watertight, I'm not gonna go through quite as much of the effort. But we've got good honey flavors going on in here. So now, sanitize my hand. I think, yeah, I should be able to be done with this. Now, we use our big spoon and stir. Because we got a whole lot of shit that needs stirring in. Oh yes, I don't think I said before why I put the fermento and the yeast in a cup of water. It's so that the yeast can start blooming and we can make sure that it's actually alive. All the stirring. Because I want to make sure there's no like sugar crunchies or anything like that before I put it into the fermenter. Because once it goes in the fermenter, it's going to be a bit harder to stir. I'm going to have to stir, but it's going to be a bit harder. not hearing any crunchies. So back in the sanitizer that goes. And we start adding to the fermenter. Now, once you actually look at it, there's still some shit in there. So, more water. This one doesn't have to work quite as hard with the stirring. And we need this later. And we stir some more. Getting all of that loveliness. Okay. And I've got 1 more gallon to put in. And then we stir some more. Ooh, Nelly. It's a good thing that this fermenter is so big. All right, so let me just scoosh all this over. There we go. All right, so put all that in and we stir some more. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult. You saw me, I dug with my hand in the sanitizer. So we wanna try and get it as homogeneous as possible for our readings. All right, back in we go. And we're gonna pitch in our yeast and fermento. And we'll do some more stirring. All right, there's that. And now what I'm gonna do, we're gonna add some lemon peel, just to add a little bit of a touch of citrus to this loveliness. And as you can see, it's been sanitized. I'm also probably gonna put both lemon juices in. And I'm trying just to get the skin not too much pith, but you know, things happen. So I'm doing this now before we do any readings because this can actually affect the pH. And we want the pH Didn't think that through. We're gonna do this. There. And yeah, we're going to do the pH because pH needs to be around 4 to stop botulism, 1. And 2, yeast don't really like it below pH of 2 or above the pH of 6. And so once we get all these in here and stir it up, we'll be able to take a reading and see which way we need to go. If I need to add some lemon juice for the acidity, or if I need to add some potassium carbonate. I highly doubt that. Oh, this is smelling really good, y'all. There we go. Okay. We're done with that. Gonna give it a nice good stir. going to take a pH reading. Hopefully my hand is not too terribly wet. There. All right. What color are we at? See, right now it looks like we're sitting at about a 5. So I do need to add just a titch of lemon juice. Yeah, that's a solid 5. Getting closer to 6. Nah, solid 5. So, handy dandy knife. Some lemon juice. Give it a stir, make sure it's all homogeneous. I might need the whole lemon, who knows? Oh, bugger. See, this is the problem when you use wet hands. I'm gonna get a clean towel. This is very wet work. Okay. Dip that in. It's now looking a bit closer to like 4. Yeah, I call that 4, so only half a lemon was needed. Yep, that's a 4. All right, so now we take our Brix reading. What is a Brix reading, you say? It's a refractometer reading that tells us how much sugar is in the solution and how much possibility of alcohol we will have, the potential alcohol. So I'm getting my camera ready because I want to take a picture of it as well. Okay. Okay, so 17.3 is what we have. All right, that's that. So now I don't need the lemons anymore. Putting them on the counter, it's fine. Gonna dunk this one more time. And just because I'm paranoid, one more stir. Make sure everybody is happy. Get it all oxygenated in there. Rachel's getting her phone wet. Bad Rachel. And now we put the lid on. Maybe. There we go. Oh, there it is. Nice and tight. And we fill an airlock. It's got a little too much in there. There we go. Okay. And there we go. Now we're going to let it sit. going to check on it in probably 2 weeks or so, because I think this will be fermented dry a bit sooner than what we've been doing with the other meads. So, but we will see. See you in 2 weeks.